Wednesday, May 13th, 2026. We are in the council chambers of Washington City Hall for our workshop meeting. Our meetings are streamed live and archived at washingtoncity.org/meetings. Council, I will turn to you for an approval of the agenda as outlined.
So made, Mayor. Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Ivy and a second by Councilman Coates. All in favor? Any opposed? The agenda is approved unanimously. Our first and only item of business here is a Cotton Days report and recognition. I'll invite our Legislative Affairs Director, Jordan Hess, to come forward and present to the council and to the public. Mr. Hess.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Let me just connect this real quick. Here we go. Hey, we're almost a little over a week and a half past our Cotton Day celebration, and just wanted to give a follow-up report on how that went. Our theme this year was Land, Liberty, and Legacy, built by hands, preserved by heart, with an emphasis on America 250. The goals of Cotton Days this year, we wanted to increase attendance, attract new audiences, while also continuing to honor our city's history and heritage. And so on that first increase attendance, here's Cotton Days by the numbers. I've tracked the numbers this year compared to last year. Vendors, last year we had 53. This year we had exactly 100 vendors in the park. That included the children's market and the regular vendors. Cars in the car show, last year 51. This year we had 110 cars in our car show. Parade entries, we were at 48 last year and 64 parade entries this year. Attendees at Cotton Fest last year, using Placer AI, Rusty helped me find these numbers. We had about 4,500 last year. This year, 7,000 plus at Cotton Fest. We had over 2,000 at the drone show, 700 attended the play/musical. We had 500 kids at the jam session. That one was harder to track, but we did give out 500 t-shirts and 500 ice creams. So there were at least 500 kids at that jam session at the Wills Park.
Did any of them get ice cream on their t-shirts?
Sure they did, and on the concrete, I'm sure. But the parade and Cotton Fest alone saw a 53% increase in attendance this year. But we saw significant increases across the board at all of the different Cotton Days events. This year, we had some new events. So most notably was our musical and play, Side by Side, the story of Arthur Paxman and the Old Gym. And we have right here our director, Rachel Cox, and then Mindy Langford was kind of the liaison and a member of the Cotton Days committee. And they did a phenomenal job, both the writing, the producing, the executing of this musical. All 4 shows, all tickets were claimed, and it was a big hit. And this was one of the ways that we decided to highlight our heritage and our history, was through this play. And we've met as a committee afterward, and also some sidebar conversations about what this might look like moving forward. Happy to share that information at a later date. But it was a great event. We had Thursday night, Friday night, and 2 showings on Saturday, and the feedback was wonderful. We also did the kids jam session down at the Washington Wills Park, where some of our local experts were there to give tips and tricks, teach some of the youth some new tricks on their boards, their blades, and their bikes. We had t-shirt giveaways, music, ice cream. It was a great event. We're looking to maybe expand that next year to be more of a competition style.
Oh, cool.
Do like a Cotton Days Invitational where we could do an actual competition. We had the drone show. If any of you were there, it was really awesome. It was neat seeing all of the different shapes and colors in the sky. We incorporated a lot of the history. We had Cotton Ball, we had a covered wagon, we had some tributes to America 250 as well. And yeah, the Placer AI data showed over 2,000 people attended that drone show, either in the parking lot, in the field at the school, or down in the ball fields. And then we did the children's market, which I actually thought was such a cool event. We had 34 kids sign up, and they brought their best homemade goods, crafts, foods, you name it. One of our very own Hannah in the recorder's office, her two daughters were there selling, and they had a great time. There was someone,
lemonade that changed colors.
yes, lemonade that changed colors. We had rainbow bagels, and that kid told me he made $250 that day selling his rainbow bagels, so he was super pleased with that. But it was just cool that we partnered with this outside organization. We were the first city in southern Utah to partner with this organization, and it was a big success. The budget. So our proposed budget was 56,000 this year. Our actual were about 52.5. So we came in under budget. Revenue was 27,505. Of that, 24,300 were sponsorships. Now our 5-year average for sponsorships was about 7750. So we more than tripled the amount of sponsorship money from the community. You can see the logos of the different businesses that contributed this year to Cotton Days, and it was really successful there. That reserve balance is any sponsorship money that isn't used just rolls over into a reserve fund for Cotton Days. That reserve fund for next year is at 28,237. And Brian has been amazing helping me track all of this.
I'm surprised it's not to the penny, knowing Brian,
right?
but just to the dollar.
It actually, I think, was to the penny, and I just rounded. So, but couldn't be done without an amazing committee. These are all of our committee members that we had, meetings twice a month, and then leading up to Cotton Days, we had a weekly meeting. Brought in some really great new faces on this committee. Danny Hayes was over marketing, and we actually put some money and resources behind marketing this year, and I think it paid off. There was much more awareness about Cotton Days this year. Kenzie Casey, she was over the events, so she coordinated the drone show and the kids market and some of the other events regarding Cotton Fest. Annie Simpkins was a big help as well. Mindy Langford here with us was all things musical. Her and I were in constant contact almost on a daily basis, making sure the venue was ready and we had the supplies and the props and the lighting and the sound that we needed. Amazing.
So real quick on that, you're talking with the main stage, all of the entertainment.
Oh no, so that was all separate. That was Cotton Fest. She was just the play stage. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. And then all of our city staff that has been super helpful, could not have been more helpful. Michelle, I have to give a shout out to Michelle. She is a rock star and did such a fantastic job leading up this event. A lot of moving parts with parking and streets and the parade and trash pickup, you name it. But we handled the crowd. It was a bigger crowd than we've ever seen before, but it didn't feel too crowded. The parking's always going to be an issue when you're in a city park in a downtown with not a lot of parking, but it worked. We made it work, and I think everyone who attended had a great time. I just feel like it was we accomplished all of our goals, increased attendance. We held on to that heritage, especially with the play. Another thing we did was the city tours. The St. George Chamber, they donated their little trolley for the day, and we did tours of all the historical markers in our downtown, and they had, those things were full, and they went every half hour for 3 hours, and each time it was full. And so we did
with Mike Harless there.
Mike Harless was the narrator and had told stories about the different landmarks, and it was just a great way to maintain that history and heritage that we all love so much. And speaking of, Cotton Days, I know is a long-standing tradition, and those who have kind of laid this foundation and made it what it was. It wouldn't be what it is without them. And so they've done a fantastic job, and couldn't have done it with those who have done it in the prior years, those who helped this year, and those who are going to help moving forward. Great city celebration, and I was just grateful to be part of it this year.
Well, Jordan, we certainly appreciate you and your leadership in chairing that committee. And certainly, I mean, the numbers and the feedback speaks for itself. Council, before I invite some of our guests here from the committee to come up and share a few thoughts and be recognized, do you have any questions or feedback for Jordan, or questions?
I'd just say it's the best one I've been to. I've been to them a lot, so I really enjoyed it. So good job, everyone. I was impressed with how many people were there, and it felt good to be there. It felt lively. It felt good. So, you know, you didn't want to. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's just a little thing, and it doesn't. I mean, we've had years that it's like, okay, we've seen it, let's go. But like, I kept going and kept going, and it was fun to be that with that energetic crowd with everyone. So good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was in and out most of the day till about 3 in the afternoon, and I mean, it never let up. You know, went down to, I spent, 2, 3 hours down at the car show and, hanging out down there, and then came back up and for the tractor pulls and back to the Veterans Park. And it was just, I mean, I was tired, but nobody else seemed
Well,
busy the whole time.
So we issue a survey to all of our vendors, and we've gotten over 30 responses. All of them were positive. The only piece of advice they had was they wished it could have gone longer, that they had bodies there to buy their product or their food. We had advertised Cotton Fest until about 2 p.m. So if the bodies are there and we can stretch some of that entertainment, we might, go longer into the afternoon in the future.
I love the main stage entertainment. In fact, at one
Yeah.
point, I found myself sitting alone, and my wife and daughter were shopping. And before I knew it, Councilman Coates had pity on me and came over and sat my
He looked like he wasn't very cool, and I'm like, well, someone's
is
got to
this?
sit by him so he doesn't look like the
loader.
I think that was the Anna and Elsa
Yeah, and
presentation.
then they came up. It was awesome.
Uh,
The fire dancing was awesome.
it was so
Yeah.
cool. So here was my thought, though, is next year we need a big tent out so that the crowd can sit and enjoy that main stage entertainment. And then I also really liked how you put up just kind of signs in the park that showed what the events were, and who the performers were. Because in fact, and the other feedback I had is I actually had people coming up and asking me, how do I get those shirts? They wanted the shirts, and I know that some of our neighboring communities sometimes will sell shirts leading up to their festival. So
Yeah.
that's just a little bit of feedback, but again, just so positive. Councilman Ivy.
I'm just taking it all in, when you consider the whole thing, the increased attendance, put half of the budget back in reserves for next year. They've created so many new venues. That's always been our goal, to involve the Fields and Coral Canyon and different parts of the city. And we're taking it to them. And the thing I love about it this year also is involving kids. The Wills Park, that was a great event out there, but the children's market was amazing. I have about 50 charges on my Venmo for $3 and less. And I'm looking forward to that next year. I'm going to get cash. We'll get cash next year. But the thing that really just inspired me this year was that it's such a nod towards keeping up with our community, with moving forward and trying to find those things that people truly want to be a part of. But the most amazing thing to me, Mayor, was the play,
Oh, yeah.
that written costumes and everything done in that amount of time. And I have no talents in that regard at all, but I appreciated the play. It was so well done. And you could just hear people's comments as they're leaving. So
Touching.
it was, and it told an important story that I don't think, Mayor, you did such a good job sharing those stories out with people. That play took your words and put it into a lot of feeling and
Right.
emotion, the songs, the actors, actresses, it was really impressive. And I'm really not a theater guy, but I really appreciated that part of it, Mayor. It was incredible. And I look forward to always being able and willing to find those cutting edge things that helps us serve all of our citizens. I mean, there's certain things that are more important to some than others, and continuing to work and find those things and involving our entire community across the spectrum is important. And I'm happy to see that. I think Cotton Days nailed it this year with that.
Yeah, I do too.
With the play specifically, it was on a shoestring budget, and all of the actors and everybody was volunteer, even our director and costumer and the writer, and it became almost a more than a part-time job for some of them that they just so generously gave of their time. And so one of the things we've talked about is maybe next year doing like a play sponsor, and so we can throw some more funding, because it did become more than a part-time job for those involved. And I'm not just talking the actors, I'm talking the directors and the costumers and the writers, and it was just amazing, all of the effort that went into making that a really good production. And I hope that I think you plan to bring them up to give them some applause as well.
One last point I think we should make before we do that is the field trips. I'm not sure what are they, the second grade, third grade, second grade field trips. We had a lot of buses, a lot of kids running around, but you know, as fun as the kids had, those individuals that show up every year, they're looking forward to that all year long. And so that's a fun tradition. They go to their little booths and learn about, you know, kind of the heritage and, you know, the pioneers and even some of the improvements to the museum were really cool. And those elementary school age kids got to go in there and see kind of the Native American exhibits and learn about Washington's history. And so, yeah, I think it was a smashing success.
We don't advertise the field trips because, for security reasons, we don't want just random members of the community showing up to those. But they are a foundational part of Cotton Days. And this year they had 1,600 students come through in those 3 or 4 days, including one day devoted solely to homeschool families and groups. And so it was a great way for them to learn our history as well.
Mayor, can I add just one thing?
Go ahead.
So I sat and listened to Mike Harless that was dressed in his mountain man attire and his black powder rifle. And those kids wouldn't even blink. They were so taken in by that. And Mike does such a good job. Then they all jumped and ran. But that was an important part of that children's part of it too. So I just want to mention that. He did a great job.
And those field trips are a huge part of what Michelle does. She coordinates all of that, making sure that everything's running smoothly, on time, that the volunteers have what they need, that the students, the bus drivers are all squared away. So she's can't give her enough thanks.
Thank you, Jordan. Let's do this. Michelle, I'm going to invite you up first, and then Kenzie, and then Rachel and Mindy. All right? Michelle, what's in your heart right now?
I love Cotton Days, and I look forward to it every year. And the day after, I'm always like, it's a lot, and it's so much fun though. And it's great to see all the kids and to see the community come out and enjoy the work that we've brought.
How many hours did you work over that week and weekend? And your family. I mean, even your son is helping with props with the
He
play.
volunteered to help with the play. My daughter volunteered to help throughout the week. She loves coming out and volunteering. So she was at the Wheels Park handing out shirts, and my middle son was there handing out popsicles.
Yes.
And then my oldest was there. He helped a lot too.
Well, we're incredibly grateful. We feel so fortunate to have you. Counsel, anything you'd like to say to Michelle?
I did talk to Michelle that day and I said, "Are you making it?" She says, "I'm fine." I'm getting through, and I just loved it. So good job, Michelle.
Thank you.
I mean, may have to consider maybe some kind of a augmentation to her salary, because I understand she was paying her kids out of her money to be there too. So
Volunteer For the-
Volunteered.
so,
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Kenzie, come up, and I know you're new to the committee this year. Tell us a little bit about your role and your experience. Pull that mic down.
My role was helping with the drone show and the children's market. I have no experience. Um,
This
but it was fun.
experience.
Yes. No, the experience, it was great with the committee. They were awesome. They just, every time I turned around, Michelle was right there doing everything, it seemed. But yeah, it was a good experience.
The drone show is epic.
The drone show was awesome.
I mean, I was getting texts that night and the next day from people just saying, this is so cool.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Where did that idea stem from?
Jordan? Maybe? I think. I don't know. I just got asked to help like get it going.
Problem if they get you hooked on them, then all of a sudden everything has to be a drone show.
No, what they can do with drones is awesome. Stuff you can't do with fireworks. Like
Right.
reading the images, you can choose what you want. And then we were able to thank some sponsors through it. And
Yes.
yeah, so I think it was money well spent.
Highlight of your experience. What was the best part of it?
Working with the committee for sure. They're awesome. I got to meet a lot of city people that I had never met before and made some new friends, and it was awesome. It was a good experience.
Council. My question then is, oh, go ahead, Councilman
I was
Bellson.
just gonna say, it wouldn't happen if it weren't for people like you volunteering, so thank you very much.
Thanks.
So you coming back next year?
If they want me.
I'm getting thumbs up.
Yeah.
All right. You're locked in.
Yes, so I guess.
You're locked in, Kenzie. Thank you.
Like,
Rachel and Mindy, will you come up together, please? And Mindy, will you start and then just give them a little background on the play, how it came about, and just give us a little context.
Yeah, so it started at the fireside days ago. I went to that on a whim. We were like, oh, this is happening. Let's go to this. And it was just inspiring to hear the stories of those people that built that place. And again, on a whim, I was just like, go ask. I'm like, hey, Mayor Staley, you don't
There were
know me. I know
emails
you."
later, I replied. Like, she was asking me
Yeah,
again.
so that
She's
night he
serious.
gave me his email and I kind of hounded him a little bit, and yeah, then we met. And Rachel's name was the first one to come to mind because I don't know theater. I know how to organize and make things move, but as far as the theater side of things, that was her ball game. So
And it was so cool because that was a brief meeting with the three of us and Jordan, the four of us with Jordan. And right then we met in Heritage Hall, and we took a little bit of that story of what we've called the old gym, and it seems like it just was meant to be, and it started coming together.
it was so fun. Total joy to be a part of something like that. And kind of like what's been pointed out here, with a community wanting something and with a city there to back it up. I mean, it was set for success from the start. And a team that was very high quality focused and a cast that was amazing. So lots of factors contributed to the success.
So cool. And then Rachel, join in here. So you jumped in at that point. Take us through this process of a family coming, like literally your family and the community family coming together to make this story into a play that literally brought tears to my eyes. I mean, I was so touched by it.
Yeah, we had a meeting with the like Mayor's talking about the four of us, and sort of dreamed up how could we tell a story that would bring the community together. And it was just like all the pieces fell into place. My sister is a writer, and so I said, well, let me just see if she would be interested in writing a new musical. And she was thrilled. And my father is an actor and has done some directing, and so we pulled him in. My mom happens to be a costumer, so we got the whole family involved. And then we had this amazing cast show up. We had open auditions, and we had at least half of our actors have very little to no experience in theater, but just saw the opportunity and came to be a part of it. And I've had various theater experiences, and some are more professional, and you come and you show up and you do your job and then you leave. But this really felt like a family. This group of actors, some really quite seasoned and others very new, came together. But it was a really magical, beautiful experience to tell a story about the families of Washington. So it just, it's an experience that I will always treasure. It really was meant to be, I think.
Tell us the character that you played and how you felt after that, what kind of connection you might feel to that role. I mean, it was powerful.
Yeah, I ended up, I was originally just going to be directing, but through a series of events, ended up being in the production as well. And I played Minnie Paxman, and telling her story and researching her and her family and then meeting her descendants. You know, we
Yes.
would stand outside the hall afterward and we met Paxmans and Iversons, and people would weep and say, this is the story of my great grandparents that you brought to life. It was so meaningful. I've been getting some texts and emails from people wanting the script or wondering if we have a recording because they want to share it with their family that wasn't here. And I actually got to meet a descendant of Minnie, named after Minnie Paxman, who came to the place. So it was magical, and I feel so honored at the opportunity that we all had.
What would you add, Mindy? So, two quick questions and then I'll give it to the council and we'll carry on. But do you feel like, or actually, let me start with this order. What value does community theater bring to a community and to a downtown? Either of you?
Um, well, first of all, within the cast and crew and production team, it lets people meet and spend time together that would never know each other. So it's a community building in and of itself, in that it crosses all the other lines and you come together to build something and get to know each other in a way you never would otherwise. But it also, especially when we tell a story about our community, it's like there's a spirit of community that comes into the place and into the hearts of the people as we together experience. You know, you can tell a story or read a story, but seeing a story and having music and having these characters in front of you, it transcends all of our daily lives and brings us together in an incredible way.
Yeah, very well said. And my other question is this: what are the possibility of other productions and or side by side again next year? I know it's early, so I don't want you to commit, but just your thoughts.
Well, Ryan or Jordan spoke a little bit to that. Just for it to be sustainable, like he said, it did become probably for about 4 of us a pretty around the clock job for. I mean, we had worked on it since when I talked to you right after the Cotton Days before, but for about 4 months,
Yeah.
a pretty around the clock job. So
Okay.
sustainability, if there were sponsors or something a little more to put towards that, would definitely
Okay.
make it doable. Our heart's in it for sure.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's got a pencil.
So my thought about the future would be, this would be my dream, that we have 4 shows that we write. Or I know there was the Cotton Tales. Is that what it was?
Oh, yes, we did in fact, the very first Cotton Days ever told a story about just the cotton mission, and it was done at the cotton factory
Right.
in the 80s. I want to say around 1984 or something like that. And it was done by just I probably shouldn't say ramshackle, but I'm going to cast of locals with most with little to no acting experience. But it was amazing. In fact, my mother was in it years ago, and I remember it was, you know, when the cotton factory for a period of time was just an open reception hall after it was restored. And so I thought it was really fitting that we would bring back another play about a different period of our history, also in the space of where that occurred, similar to the very first Cotton Days play. And I don't remember, it might have been I don't remember exactly what the first play was called. I have it written down somewhere. But for a year, you're
Like we have 4 productions and rotate through. So each year at Cotton Days,
a different
it's-
production.
Yes, it's a different production. So people aren't like, well, we saw that last
That's
year.
Yes.
I think that something along those lines would be wonderful. And we had, the production was about an hour long. I think that's great. You know, we can tell a story in an hour and from different time periods, you know, so maybe we keep side by side and we create some new pieces for the coming years. Again, this is just if this
Yes.
is something you want to continue with, but that could be a way to keep it fresh and highlight different stories and different periods from our history. So.
I love it. Council, I'll turn to you.
I was just gonna say, I'm not much of a play guy, but I went and had a ball. It was a great time. And the next day, what was opening night? Was it Friday or Thursday? Thursday. So Saturday, I sat down and talked to Dale Year for a little bit.
Yeah.
And he said, I hadn't done anything like that in over 50 years. And he had a ball too. So I think everybody thoroughly enjoyed it.
Seeing him in the parade was a highlight.
Yes.
Waiting
Yeah.
in the parade.
Yes. Any other thoughts on that?
You know, the only setback about the play that I could see was he got locked out of the old church.
What's an adventure?
It was such a good play though. It honestly was. I loved the story that I'd heard growing, but it was good, but we'll get that key thing rectified before next.
Thank you. Would you mind if the council would come down with you and those from the city and the committee together? We just get a group picture and we'll just thank you. Jeremy, did you have something to
Yeah.
add?
Before you start, I'm just wondering, on a scale of 1 to 10, grade Jordan's performance as an actor, and how did he accept feedback?
Took things really well. Yes.
So you give him a 5, a 6?
Like a 9.5.
Okay,
That's an A.
pretty good.
Can we get him a role with a British accent next year?
Right one just for him.
Thank you, guys. We'll come down and join you. We'll get a group picture with all those involved.
Right, Jordan.
I'm coming right here to the middle.
Good.
Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12.
Rachel, so incredibly grateful for you. Thanks, love, for responding.
Thanks for your.
I just say one more thing. There was a list of committee members, but the help went far beyond that list of committee members, especially our park staff, our public works staff, our police and fire. Just, it was a complete team effort, and there were so many employees from different departments that made it all happen. So I just wanted to thank those outside of that committee list, because there were countless people that made this possible.
Yeah. All hands on deck. Thank you. All right, council, at this time, I will turn to you for a motion and roll call vote to move to closed session for 2 items. First would be purchase, exchange, or lease of property, and the second would be pending or potential litigation.
Go made.
I have a motion by Councilman Belliston,
Second.
second by Councilman Coates. Roll call beginning with Council Member Casperson. Ivy.
Aye.
Coates.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
Belliston.
Aye.
That is approved unanimously. We will move into the boardroom for closed session. Today is Wednesday, May 13th, 2026. We are in the council chambers at Washington City Hall for our regular meeting. Our meetings are streamed live and archived at washingtoncity.org/meetings. We appreciate our relationship with the Interfaith Council, and our invocation tonight would be given by Michael Cruz of the Unitarian Universalist Church. Is Michael here? Okay, Michael is not here, so I'm going to call on my friend Michael Dinsmore, who's also the Power Board Chair, and invite him to offer the invocation.
Our Father in heaven, we thank thee for this opportunity to meet together as friends and neighbors of Washington City, and we ask that thou bless us with thy inspiration and thy guidance as we discuss the needs and welfare and things that are pertaining to our great city. We ask, Father, that thou bless those members of our community who are struggling and having issues in their lives right now, that thy Spirit will bless them and let them know that we love them and support them. We thank thee for this great country that we have to live in, and the ability to express ourselves and the freedoms that we have. And we ask that thou will continue to bless us in this area and bless us with some moisture to help these dry times that we're experiencing. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Mike. I've asked Councilwoman Kim Casperson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Council, before I call for a motion to approve the agenda as outlined, I will make note that we do not have need to go to closed session. I'll call for that motion.
So made.
I have a motion to approve by Councilmember Casperson and a second by Councilman Coates. All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda is approved unanimously. Our first item of business is announcements. Is our deputy recorder available? Hannah Park. She's not expecting this, which makes it all the more fun.
Did you hear her scream?
Hi, Hannah. Well, if you'll come forward up to the mic here. So often, almost every public meeting that we have, Hannah is upstairs in the recorder's office, making sure everything is happening the right way and flowing smoothly. But I want to invite her down this evening and publicly recognize her. She recently graduated from Southern Utah University with a master's degree in public administration. And not only did she graduate with a master's degree, she was also selected by the faculty as the outstanding student in the MPA program. We're just incredibly proud of you, and we're so very thankful for the work that you do. You're a wonderful asset to the city. You do a great job in the recorder's office. You have a beautiful family that we saw at Cotton Days last weekend. I just give you the opportunity to be on the record with just tell a little bit about what that experience, getting that degree, has been for you, and what it means to work in the recorder's office.
My legs shaking. Well, the opportunity. Well, I do think I do want. Maybe I secretly wanted this moment. Maybe because I do want to thank everyone, and Tara has been there since the beginning to the end. And not only Tara, but Jeremy helped me with the paper and John Henke here, and Brian Brown, Dad, and Jordan also. And everyone was very supportive. And I know without council decision, I know the opportunity that I had to go through the school hadn't been there. So I want to thank you guys too. And I did learn a lot. I didn't learn how to write agreement or how to write the plat or anything like that, but I did learn why the process. And I wanted to go through the school because I came from the public sector and I wanted to know how the public city works. So it was very meaningful to me to go through school. So hopefully I can apply to my job what I have learned.
Well, you have, and you are, and you will. And I hope you have that diploma in your office, displayed in your office, in the recorder's office. And we just want to let you know how proud we are and how grateful we are for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Further announcements, the Miss Washington City pageant will be held this Saturday, May 16th at 6 p.m. in Heritage Hall. It will be a wonderful evening if you have the chance to be there. The current royalty, they do so much for our community. They're out in the community, they're at the parades and the events and serving. And so we're excited to see who will serve this upcoming year. Also, the city offices will be closed on Monday, 25th in observance of Memorial Day. And one final announcement, I do have a mayoral proclamation, and this is with respect to National Public Works Week. You know, often we take for granted that the water's flowing in and out of our house, that when the rains come down, that the storm drains are taking that water where it needs to go. We're taking for granted that the sidewalks and the roads are in good repair. And we just have a lot of modern conveniences that don't happen without the efforts, come rain or shine, early mornings, long days, called out when a pipe breaks, and other things of public works. So I will go ahead and read this proclamation. And it's titled Rooted in Service Powered by Community. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Washington City. And whereas these infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, wastewater collection, stormwater, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the best public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Washington City to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, be it now resolved, I, Mayor Cress Staley, along with the Washington City Council, do hereby designate the week of May 17th to the 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing quality of life quality of life for all. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the Great Seal of Washington City, Utah, this 13th day of May, 2026. Blake Fonsbeck and John Hinkie, would you just kind of raise your hands? And I know you, a lot of, just like all your guys that work for you, I know it's a lot of what you do goes unseen, but when it, and unnoticed when it's working right, and notice when it isn't. So just thank you for your leadership and your commitment, and please express the council's appreciation and help make this a special week for all your guys, all the boots on the ground. Did I miss any announcements, council? Next section on the agenda is a declaration of abstentions and conflicts. Is there anything to declare or anything to abstain from tonight? Seeing none, we'll move right into the consent agenda, which consists of the approval of minutes, consideration to approve the minutes from the city council meeting of 4/22/26 and the board audit report, consideration to approve the board audit report from April 2026. If there are no items to poll and discuss individually, I'll call for a motion on the consent agenda.
So move, Mayor.
I have a motion by Councilman Coates,
Second.
second by Councilman Belliston. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda is reviewed and approved unanimously. At this time, I'll invite Chief Washington City PD Chief Jason Williams to come forward and introduce three new officers in Washington City PD. And then it will be their opportunity to receive the oath of office. And while you're standing there, Jason, let me just say it was a privilege for myself and city manager and some of the council to be there last night at that awards banquet. It was really an honor to be there and see the entire department. I don't know if those are your dress blues or the white shirts with the dark ties. You look sharp, and it was fun to see everyone there with their significant other. It was just, and then the volunteers. It was just a really nice night. Chief, introduce these new additions to the PD.
Thank you, Mayor. And before I do that, I'd also like to express our appreciation for the heroes in the orange vest, our public works crews, and the amber lights. So we appreciate you too. And that's respectful. But today we have the honor to recognize Officer, now Sergeant Kyle Little, and have him come up. Also, Officer Gabby Persinger as a new hire, and Rogan Roth as a new hire for Washington City Police, and we're excited to get them sworn in. So
fantastic. Let's do that. Sergeant Little, I saw the brass on your collar last night a little bit. So tell us just a little bit about your experience here in Washington City PD and who's with you here tonight, and just a little bit about what it means to you to have this opportunity to serve in this leadership role.
Yeah, definitely. My experience here has been awesome. We have the best officers in this whole state or country, probably. Oh, thanks. Just a huge support system. We have an awesome administration that supports us and is there for us. So it's been really awesome. I've got my wife with me, and then my two boys are back there. My wife, Kiara, and then my in-laws and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and their kids are here as well.
Fantastic.
So yeah, looking forward to this. Definitely a new role, new responsibilities. And so looking forward to being able to support our officers and to continue helping their growth as well.
Fantastic. Now, you received an award last night. What award did you receive? And tell us a little bit about that.
The Distinguished Service Award is just I don't even know how the best way to describe that. Part of it was I had worked hard on our vehicle maintenance and how we manage that to kind of streamline some of that, save some paper, and kind of make things go a little bit quicker. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
How many years have you served?
Just over 10 years.
10 years now.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, let me just thank your wife and family for being here, and for we know that it's family effort, and I can tell they're incredibly proud of you. Thank you, Sergeant Little. I saw both of you last night. If you'll just come, we saw both of you last night. If you'll just come forward and introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your background in law enforcement and how you ended up here in Washington.
Of course. So I'm Officer Rogan Roth. I have just over 10 years in service as well. I worked for the Uintah County Sheriff's Office for 5 years. The start of my career back in 2015, and then I went to Naples City, which is a very tall, tiny town that's up almost by Colorado, and we've been there for the last 5 years. Coming back down here, this is actually where my wife and I had met when I was down here for college in 2015. We actually got married in Washington City, so it was kind of like a coming back home for the two of us in a lot of ways. It was pretty unique to be able to get that experience to come back to a place that we were both so comfortable, 10 years ago. So my wife is here with my daughter.
Raise your hand if you're.
That's my wife and my daughter, who's 6 now.
Wonderful.
We came back down because Vernal was getting a little too small for us. We wanted to give my daughter more things to experience, more activities to do, and things that.
Have you taken her to the Wills Park yet?
We have, yes, a couple times.
Okay,
yeah,
I see Mom nodding back there.
She's definitely done, I think, more in the last couple of months than she had in the last 6 years up in Vernal. So we've been very active and doing a lot of activities. So it's been really good for us. So, and it's as far as working for Washington, it's been great. I think it's a unique experience to leave a job where you have supervisors or management or whatever you may call it, the leadership, and absolutely love them and go somewhere new and love them just as much.
Yeah.
So it's been a unique experience for me where I've come into as the new old guy who's not a new guy but kind of the old guy. It's been good. It's been really a good experience for me. So
fantastic. And I think I mentioned this just a little bit, but as we see all this support from your peers and support staff here, which is just impressive. And we appreciate you making time to be here, whether you're on duty or not. I said this last night, but I just, to your point, there is a special culture in Washington City PD as we celebrate 20 years of being a department and about, nearly 24, 25,000 new residents over that time period. It's pretty amazing. And so we appreciate that you're feeling that welcoming support, and that you see that that leadership and that culture from the top down, from Chief Williams and Lieutenant Klotz and Lieutenant Finona and all the sergeants, including our new Sergeant Little, who is a pretty big guy.
He's been great. He was actually my main FTO when I came down to Washington. So it was good to get to ride along with him a lot and see his promotion. I think he deserves it. So
Fantastic. Mrs. Roth, do you have anything to add? You don't have to. I'm feeling in a kind mood tonight. But if you'd like to add just a little bit of something about how proud you are of this guy, come tell us.
Mayor, she did prepare a speech, I believe. So
come on up then. You can beat on him later for that. And then introduce us to your daughter as well. She is so cute.
She's pretty cute. We'll keep her around.
This is Ella.
Ella, fantastic.
First of all, I want to say congratulations, and I'm so proud of you. I know being a law enforcement officer is often a thankless job, so let me be the one to say it on behalf of those who may never get the chance or never do. Thank you. Thank you for giving over a decade of your life to serving others, for answering some of the hardest and most traumatic calls, and for carrying those hardships and burdens most people could never fully understand. Thank you for the countless unseen hours, the energy, the sacrifice, and the continual effort you put into becoming a better officer, husband, father, and person. Thank you for the sacrifices you've made for our little family beyond the badge, for having the courage to move us across the state, away from what was familiar and comfortable, in order to build a better future for us and give us more opportunities. I know that decision did not come lightly, and neither were there things that we had to give up in order to get here. I promise it doesn't go unnoticed. People may not always see the selfless dedication you give to your community and those that you serve beside every day, but I do. Ella does. We see the long nights, the endless training, the emotional weight, the commitment, and the heart behind everything you do. I couldn't be more proud of the person you are and the example you continue to set for our family and those around you. Again, Thank you and congratulations.
All right, officer, if you'll introduce yourself and just give us a little background on how you landed in Washington City as well.
So I'm Officer Gabby Persinger, and back in 2021, I actually started my law enforcement career in the jail here at Purgatory.
Okay.
And became part of the negotiations team, started heading up the gang unit and the criminal investigations unit as well, and just wanted something more. And so my husband and I, we ended up moving to Washington City, and then I ended up applying here, and I love it. Administration's great. All my FTOs were fantastic, and I'm very excited to kind of take my career and go on from here.
Well, fantastic. So it sounds like you cut your teeth in the sheriff's department. How many years did you serve there, and what was that experience like?
It was 4 years, and you definitely have to be tough. You have to be able to know how to set boundaries and recognize the manipulation and read body language. And it was a lot of fun just to find that balance of like getting that good rapport and but also like staying strong and stuff. And then it's kind of helpful out here on the road now because you see some of the clientele and they're like, "Hey, I recognize you." So, yeah, a couple times.
I went from tan to, blue or black. Is there anyone with you tonight?
So I have then my two boys.
All right, raise your hand right here. Okay. Should we put him on the spot for just a little bit?
He's got the crying baby.
Okay, well, we'll take that excuse. What would he say if he came up here and I asked him to talk about you? I mean, you gave him the free pass.
He can come up again. That's true.
It's unanimous. The council said, bring him up, pass off the baby. Fantastic.
It's actually fun to tell people. It's like, yeah, I met my husband in jail.
You met your husband. That's funny, actually. Tell us a little bit about, this is a family of law enforcement. Tell us just a little bit about kind of person and kind of officer that Gabby and Persinger, the officer Persinger is. And get right into that mic.
So it's truly an honor to have such an amazing person like Gabby, not only as a mother to both of our boys, but she's my best friend. When we actually first met in the jail, she was very, very quiet, very shy, and it's great to see her transform into this great deputy and now officer. So we couldn't be more proud of her. She's definitely a great role model for both of our boys. So
Well,
we're very grateful for her and all the things she's gonna do. So.
well, we're grateful for her and we're grateful for you. Thank you for serving the community in the way that you do. At this point, do we need to call up Mrs. Little or are we good? She's giving me the no, and so we're a sergeant. We saw you a little while ago, didn't we? So that box is checked. Chief, I'm going to turn the rest over to you, and then we'll get some pictures before we're done.
Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend. That I will support, obey, and defend. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of Utah. And the Constitution of the State of Utah. I do also solemnly swear. I do also solemnly swear. That I will support, obey, and defend. That I will support, obey, and defend. The laws and ordinances of Washington City. The laws and ordinances of Washington City. And I will discharge the duties. I will discharge my duties. Of my office with fidelity. Of my office with fidelity. Congratulations.
If you're pinning on the badge, come on up at this time. Yes, Mrs. Roth and Mr. Persinger.
Just stab it.
Gonna make you talk. Sure. You're, he's gonna go at the top.
All right. Congratulations. Again. Welcome.
Let's get a few pictures. Could we start, Chief, with you? The three that had the badges pinned, then we'll invite their families, then we'll invite the rest of the department. So let's go, you three come up with Chief, we'll start there. Jordan, can you grab those pictures? Or Kelly, whoever's doing the work. Now, if the families of these individuals could come up and join them, and then we'll excuse the families and bring the rest of the department up, and the council will join for a picture.
That's finding ice cream after for being good. There you go, ice cream.
Wonderful. And now if the rest of the department will come forward and join these individuals, council will come in behind and we'll get a group picture.
Address down. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations, Sergeant. That sounds great. Here, this is for you. Welcome to the department. There's a coin in there as well, so that's yours.
The next item on the agenda is an appointment. This is consideration to confirm the appointment of a member to the Power Board. Council, you've seen the the memo in your packet, and appreciated Councilman Coates's insight and leadership on this as a council liaison to the Power Board. And I appreciate the Power Director Rick Hansen being here and Power Board Chair Mike Dinsmore being here. we greatly appreciated the service of the late Dick Saunders, who sat here for how many years? I'm going to say 4 years. But what many people don't know is that the Saunders were a couple that both had extensive background in electricity and in the power field. And so when Councilman Coates leaned over and said, Mayor, what about Larry Saunders? It just felt so right. And when I approached Laurie after our last meeting, she was so cute because, I mean, we all know that she was the one taking the notes during the meetings and up at the UAMPS conventions. And she said, well, if the council approves and if the other board members and if Rick approves and every one of them, like, are you kidding me? We would like nothing more than to serve with Larry Saunders. So at this time, council, I am going to turn to you for anything you would like to say, but I'm going to give the privilege of making this motion to Councilman Coates, and we'll go from there. Is there anything anyone else would like to say on this particular item?
I just want to say I'm happy she accepted and didn't punch me for nominating her. No, we really love Dick and we love you, Lori. We're hopeful that you enjoy it as much as we enjoy serving the public. You enjoy serving, and the Power Board does a great job, and Rick and his staff. I'm happy that it will be. It's not like we're losing a step with Dick because you're going to carry on right after him and just keep going. So, with that, Mayor, unless there's any other comment.
Any other comment, Councilman Belliston?
I'm just gonna say, I think Lori probably paid more attention than the other board members during those board meetings, so I don't think there's anybody better to fill his shoes.
Certainly more than the chair. I'm teasing Mike.
And more than the liaison, I can guarantee you that.
Well, actually, before we do this, Laurie, would you come forward and just introduce yourself a little bit? And if Councilman Coates said to invite you up, so if you have any.
Wait, I did not say invite you up. I said let's put her on the Power Board. So that's all him.
What would you like to know?
Just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background in the power industry and what this opportunity means to you.
I started in the electrical field probably before a lot of you were born. It was 1984. Started in classified location explosion proof products with dealing with BP, ARCO, Chevron, nuclear power plants. Then I went on to GE. Motor control centers, motors, power, lighting. Then I went to CED and Rockwell and did robotics and industrial control, safety products, arc flash training, stuff like that, and retired in 2013.
And you've been in Washington since?
Well, since 2007. Full-time 2013.
Fantastic. Okay, I want you to stay there for just a minute if you don't mind, while Councilman Coates makes this motion.
Okay, thank you.
I would love to make a motion to appoint Lori Sanders to the Power Board.
Heard the motion by Councilman Coates. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Belliston. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Before you leave,
yes, sir.
Each of us would like to come down and shake your hand and welcome you. Then we're going to turn around and we're going to invite Mr. Chair Mike Dinsmore and Power Director Rick Hansen to come up, and we'll get a group photo. Okay.
I'll slide it.
Moving on to item 7A. This is a public hearing to considering adopting the Washington City 2026-2027 fiscal year budget. I'll invite Finance Director Brian Brown to present to the council. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So hey Dave, can you bring up the summary of the budget, please? Oh, there it is. So as we discussed 2 weeks ago, we had the presentation of the tentative budget. And here's a summary of the budget for the current year and next fiscal year. So this year's budget will be $136 million. And then last year's 139. And so here's the summary. And then also required by Utah State Code, we are also required to present the officers' annual increases. Do you have the clicker?
The maximum.
The maximum. And so
Which is not the actual.
So here's the list of officers' compensation for next year and the titles and the amount depending on performance evaluation. So like I said, this is just a high summary that we brought for the public hearing. Do you have any additional questions about the budget?
Council, questions for Brian Brown while he's here on the budget? And I know we've been through the process from.
So I would tonight's just the public hearing, not the approval of the budget.
Yeah,
for my benefit,
And do we need to note that we actually moved the adoption to June 10th? Instead of the May 27th?
Okay. Any comments, questions?
Why move that for the approval?
I think I talked to Tara and
it's looking like we're going to end up canceling the May 27th meeting due to lack of agenda items.
Okay.
Yeah, Tara called
But
me.
that happened like just 5 minutes before the work session. So. Any questions for Brian? Thanks, Brian. At this time, I'm going to open up the public hearing on item 7A, which is a public hearing to consider adopting the Washington City 2026-2027 fiscal year budget. Anyone who would like to speak to this budget, now is your opportunity. Seeing no one come forward, I will close the public hearing. I'll move on to item 7B, which is a public hearing to consider adopting the Washington City 2026-2027 fiscal year compensation budget. I'm going to open the public hearing at this time. Anyone who would like to come forward and speak to this item, now is your opportunity. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and I will make note on the record that the council will be voting on the budget on our June 10th meeting. We'll move along to a plat amendment. This is item 8A, consideration to approve an amended preliminary plat for Desert Ridge Estates, phases 2 through 4, located at Coyote Crest and Florence Drive. Community Development Director Eldon Gibb will present on this, and I see the applicant. I'll give the applicant an opportunity to speak and answer questions if they would like.
Thank you, Mayor, and council. Good to be here tonight. This is the location we're looking at. I'll pull up the exhibits here and we can dig in. This plan here is the current approved plan. Circled in red is the area that we're looking at tonight, the phase 2 area. And this is the proposed plan. As you can see, the amendments include a reduction of 10 lots. The approved plan consists of 36 lots, and the plan shows 26. This change allows larger lots and reduces the overall density from 2.67 to 1.93. Second change is to extend the southern property lines of lots 205. I'll zoom in here. The original lot line came kind of right through the numbers, and the proposal is extending that lot all the way to the east. And then lots 207 through 210, you can see they're proposing to extend those back rear lot lines into a flatter area. And when we look at the slope analysis, you can see this area, there is no, it's pretty flat. They're out of the 30% area. So I just wanted to point that out as well. They're also updating phase lines, utilities, and a grading plan. And then lastly, updating the conditions of approval numbered 13 through 24. And we can dig into those right now. Conditions 13 through 18 are clerical, kind of number oriented. Proposing to remove the old lot numbers and match the current plan. And then when we get into condition 19, this was a condition added by council, which read 5 lots must be single story and no more than 2 in a row. And the Hillside Committee, along with staff, recommend some clarifying words here just to clean it up, make it a little more easier to understand. We're proposing the language be changed to 5 lots of the following 11 lots: 210, 305 through 309, and 403 through 407 consist of single-story homes no taller than 25 feet and no more than 2 in a row. And then conditions 20 through 23 are also clerical, just updating the lot numbers to match the new plan. And then condition number 24 was also added by council, which read, no buildable area will be allowed on the back of lots for structures on lots 215 through 231. And we're proposing it to be changed to lots 208 through 210, 305 through 309, and 403 through 407 shall not have any vertical structure in the area of the backyard area that is outside of the buildable envelope. These homes currently have a 10-foot rear yard setback, so there would be no vertical construction in that 10-foot area if approved as. That concludes staff report. I should mention the Hillside Committee reviewed this and they also recommended approval. Planning Commission reviewed this and unanimously recommended approval. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Council, what questions do you have for Eldon?
Mayor, I'd just add that the Hillside Committee and this verbiage is exactly what we agreed to, and that it's consistent with the council's direction back when it was discussed on the bench.
Thank you, Councilman. Further comments, any questions or discussion on this with staff? Is anyone in the public here for this item tonight? All right, the public hearing did occur at the Plan Commission level. Would the applicant like to say anything on this? Steve, Brandy, anybody want to say anything on this item? You probably don't need to, but you can. You know, or is this part of your second and fourth Wednesday evenings, right, Brandy?
Love it. I got to see St. George last night. But I'm Brandy Walker, representing the applicant with Civil Science tonight. Thank you, staff and Eldon, especially Hillside, for putting all this back together again for us, picking through those notes. But we did have a comment on the 19, because we originally were limited to the 5, and we're still limited to 5, even though we've reduced lots. the houses that Sunwood has been building out there, we've had an opportunity to see them, but they are lower profile homes. Most of them have low pitched, more modern style roofs. So we would like you to consider maybe reduce, like, rather than keeping with 5, considering maybe it's 2 or 3. There is some stepping of that hillside that does come down, so there will be some variance in the roof line as is, just due to the topography. But that would be about an ask that the applicant would like you guys to consider.
Council, any
I think
response to
that
that?
meets what we were planning. How many did we lose again?
Originally it was 5. They've reduced the lots, so there's fewer lots.
How many lots on that back line versus how many?
26 in the phase. If you give me a minute, I can count those
So
up.
it's 13-ish. Like 3 seems fair to me. I mean, the goal was to change the roof line, so it wasn't a straight line on it.
With these, with these lower profile homes, what is the overall height?
Or 2-story, someone's here, they can come up and speak to it, but the ability to widen the home does decrease roof.
Yeah, we know you, but just state your name.
Yeah, Brett Howcroft with Sunwood Homes. Yeah, so the height, it all depends on your roof line, but if you have a 10-foot main floor, 9-foot second floor, that's 19 feet. So it only gives, at 25 feet, that only gives you like 6 feet for your roof pitch. So, 30 to 35 feet is ideal for a 2-story.
But 35 is our code and that's what they can go up to. So they would still be able to go up to 35.
You've heard Councilman Coates recommend 3 instead of 5. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Council, your thoughts on that? Any additional thoughts on that? Feel like that's a fair adjustment with the reduced number of lots there? Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, council, I'll turn to you for further discussion and or a motion on item 9A.
Mayor, I can make a, that's 8A.
Is it 8A? Yes, it is 8A. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve an amendment preliminary plat for Desert Ridge Estates phases 2 through 4 located at Coyote Crest and Florence Drive with the adjustment from 5 lots to 3.
I'll second that.
Heard the motion by Councilman Ivy, a second by Councilman Coates. It's plat amendment. Let's still just go roll call, beginning with Councilmember Ivy, Coates,
Aye.
Henderson, Belliston,
Aye.
Casperson.
Aye.
That amendment is approved unanimously, 5-0, with a reduction from 5 to 3 on condition 19. Thanks, guys. Item 9A, this is a road dedication. Consideration to approve a road dedication for Ara Parkway. It's applicants Freeport West. The Assistant Public Works Director, John Hinkie, will present to you on this, council.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Before you have the dedication plat for our Parkway from Washington Fields Road over to Hilton Williams Drive. We're just about done with construction out there. We're just working through corrections and repairs and stuff out there on that, and be ready to open up here shortly. So, any questions that I can answer?
But I'm a fastball, Councilwoman Casperson. Anything tough for John?
No, but I can make a motion.
You ready to make a motion? Okay. Thanks, John.
I'll make a motion to approve a road dedication for Ara Parkway.
Second.
Heard the motion by Councilman Casperson and second by Councilman Coates. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is approved unanimously. I will make note that I did just sign the dedication plat on Hilton Williams Drive today, so I'll sign that Ara Parkway as soon as you can get it to the recorder's desk. We'll go to section 10 of the agenda. We've got a couple ordinances for consideration. The first one, item 10A. This is consideration to approve an ordinance for zone change Z-26-09 from RA5 and A20 to RA1/2, located at 2350 South Washington Fields Road. Community Development Director Eldon Gibb will present.
General plan land use designation for this area is low density, which provides a 3 to 4 density unit per acre ratio, and the R110 zoning designations and larger The proposal is in line with the general plan and the surrounding zoning to this parcel. It's RA5 to the east and south and agricultural 20 to the west and north. The RA half request serves two purposes. First, it aligns the zoning with the lot sizes that are currently in existence. And second, it would provide zoning for an additional single-family residence to be considered in the northeast corner of the zone change application, which is currently zoned agricultural 20. This dark green area, you can see my cursor bouncing around there. The applicant would like to adjust some lot lines and bring in a single-family residence there. On May 6th, the Planning Commission reviewed this request and unanimously recommended approval. And that was based on the findings in staff report. I would like to note this is in the hillside. And if approved tonight, the next step would be a hillside submittal applications or lot line adjustments. One of the two, we're gonna need to get through the hillside and make sure it's in compliance with city ordinance in that regard. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Questions for Eldon?
I have a couple if you got, I don't have a problem with it, Eldon, but if it's RA half, doesn't it need to be a full half? Because one's at 0.46 and one's at 0.33. So do we need to do it at like an RA 15 or something like, or R115 or something like that instead?
Those lot lines are gonna change. There's currently a shed or some sort of detached structure. The applicant's gonna work with that lot owner to, so long term, each
half acre.
lot will be a half acre. Currently as it sits, no, but long term they will be.
As long as they're gonna be okay to do that, then I'm fine with it.
The planning commission, you talked a little bit about the access. Can you kind of show how they would access this parcel? Going around the bend?
Great comments, yes. We've met with the applicant and we are an additional access to this future building pad, which sits up here, is not going to be granted off of Washington Fields Road. An access easement through the other property owners will be required, and I understand has already been obtained to feed off of this existing access here, which has already been cut, feeding these three lots.
Not sure where that was.
So Eldon, these parcels were created historically. And they've been legal parcels, but they're out of compliance right now. Would you talk to that and kind of share what that means and what we're trying to do tonight in relationship to bringing them into compliance?
Yeah, as you can see, there is no subdivision here. These came in and have been in existence for quite some time. And when the city created zoning, for some rhyme or reason, it was given the RA5, kind of a blanket designation there. And that's where we're in conflict. So we're trying to clean that up.
Thank you.
Ellen, has there been any discussion about the power line easement that potentially is needed for that existing pole?
I am not aware of that. That's something the applicant, I would want the applicant to chime in on that if he's been in touch with the power or not.
So would that be something you want to take care of at zoning, or would that be something that would come in?
It just needs to be taken care of, just like the Schmitz just had to give it access to Dixie Power so they could get to their pole on the backside. There's a pole over there they gotta get access to as well.
Yeah, I think that would be taken care of at future stages, not
That's
necessarily.
fine, as long as we are, just make the applicant aware they're gonna have to deal with that at some point.
Anything else, council?
Just so the applicant's aware, this line here, I think is what we're discussing.
Yeah,
An easement there to maintain access and workability if those lines are ever needed to
they
work.
just have to get their power truck to the backside.
And so this is at the zone change stage. Before plating, you said that, and before any hillside work is done, it will go to hillside committee and come back for plating with the council and maybe some additional lot line adjustments.
correct, that are in compliance with the RAF.
The lot line adjustments come back to council?
Lot lines do not, that's an administrative staff.
So you
approval.
guys will take care of that.
Correct.
So then we would not see it again, right? After the zone.
It would go back to planning
It would go
commission.
back to planning, but for land use, but it wouldn't go back to.
Yeah.
Correct.
2 or 3 years later, we're still getting used to single family not coming back to council.
So where these are already existing parcels, do they need to be platted?
They're just doing lot line adjustments. That was the
Well,
question.
Right, I mean, I just heard somebody mention, platting like that, just
I think,
just lot line adjustments. I don't think they need to be platted, do they?
well, they have to do an exhibit that shows how they're doing, adjusting the boundaries to submit to the county, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, but a
all
plat has to come
administratively.
through our process separate. I
The-
was trying to make sure we're not doing.
But if
Different
they do a
process.
boundary, they don't have to come to us. They have to get approval from the
And
city.
we acknowledge these lots as they have been in existence for years on end. The city's not requiring a plat to take place. We're comfortable with the lot line adjustment.
Okay,
But the city has to sign off on the lot line adjustments. But then
Right,
they,
I was
then it
just-
get recorded at the
I
county.
just want to make sure there wasn't an extra process that
Oh,
we were having them.
but my question is, we need to deal with potential Dixie Powers concern up there.
Is the
Yeah.
lot, apologize, is the lot line adjustments to make them all compliant with the RA 1/2? Is that the reason for it?
Correct.
And when does Hillside, how does Hillside play into this again?
Turn on the hillside overlay, you can see it's all encumbered in that hillside. So anything that wants to be built on that falls within the hillside, we need to check the hillside box. So on this lot, they would, if this is approved and the lot lines are approved, they have an RA to build on, they would submit a formal building permit application showing where the home sits on the lot and any cuts that they would want to propose.
And that's where the Hillside Committee would come in on the building.
Correct,
Okay.
make sure we're out of the 30% or greater, 2-to-1 slopes, all of that criteria.
So if it doesn't come back to the city level really at all, except Hillside, then I think we should have a condition that they have something from Dixie Power to get access to their equipment. Unless there's already something, I don't know, no, there's a pole right there, and if we have to do something.
Great notes, I've noted that and we'll see that through.
Okay. Well, I'll make.
Any additional questions for staff? I see the applicant here. Would you like to add anything? If not, council will, it looks like council ready to make a motion. So it's, okay.
Mayor, I'm ready to make a motion that we approve an ordinance zone change Z-26-09 from RA 5 and A 20 to RA 1/2 located 2350 South Washington Hills Road.
Second that, Mayor.
Have a motion by Councilman Belliston, a second by Councilman Ivy. It's an ordinance that will go roll call beginning with Councilmember Coates, Henderson,
Aye.
Belliston,
Aye.
Casperson, Ivy.
Aye.
That is approved unanimously, 5-0. Thanks for getting that done. One more ordinance, item 10B. This is consideration to approve an ordinance for zone change Z-26-10 from RA2 to I1 located at 1290 East Washington Dam Road. Community Development Director Eldon Gibb will present. And is the applicant here on this one? Applicant is here, okay. And is anybody in the audience here for this particular item? Okay, go ahead, Eldon.
This is the site we're looking at on the corner of 1300 East and Washington Dam Road. We turn to the general plan. You can see this site is surrounded with industrial type uses. Looking at the zoning, to the east is I-2, to the southwest and a little bit of the north is the I-1 zoning designations. If this zone change is approved, the applicant is planning to build flex space that complies with the light industrial use list, such as storage area for trade contractors and small business owners, along with light assembly and production of goods. On May 6th, the Planning Commission reviewed this request and unanimously recommended approval. That was based on the findings in staff report. That concludes this presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Eldon? Questions for the applicant? Discussion? Motion?
Make a motion, we approve zone change Z 26 10 from RA2 to I1 located at 1290 East Washington Dam Road.
And I'll second that.
Have a motion by Councilman Coates, a second by Councilman Belliston. Roll call vote beginning with Council Member Henderson,
Aye.
Belliston, Casperson, Ivy,
Aye.
Coates.
Aye.
That is approved 5-0. Thank you.
Mayor, may I make a comment after the motion? I'm seeing a little bit of a pattern here on 10A and 10B. They're both were non-conforming land uses and now they are. So I'm glad to see that we are being a part of that regulatory reform that's constantly changing. We want to make sure that we're current. I think Eldon's to be commended for keeping those things straight and looking out and finding those and making sure that we're staying in compliance.
Excellent point. Thank you, Councilman. Next section on the agenda is resolutions. We've got two. Item 11A, this is consideration to approve a resolution for the Public Infrastructure and Redevelopment Agreement between Washington City and GPK Investments, Inc. Council, you're familiar with this. If there is not any discussion, I'm happy to entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the public infrastructure and redevelopment agreement between Washington City and GPK Investment Inc.
You've heard the motion by Councilman Coates. Is there a second?
Second.
Third.
We have a second by Councilwoman Casperson. We'll go roll call on this, beginning with Council Member Belliston.
Aye.
Casperson.
Aye.
Ivy.
Aye.
Coates.
Aye.
Henderson.
Aye.
That is approved unanimously, 5-0. Item 11B is consideration to approve a resolution for real property and a billboard asset purchase agreement between Washington City and GPK Investments, Inc. Again, you're familiar with this resolution. If there's not any discussion, I am happy to entertain a motion by Councilman Henderson. He knew that was
Get my
coming.
glasses on.
He knew that was coming. He's got a little jet lag from his
Little jet lag,
trip across the
yes.
pond.
Aye. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve a resolution for real property and a billboard asset purchase agreement between Washington City and GPK Investments, Inc.
You've heard the motion by Councilman Henderson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Coates. Roll call beginning with Council Member Casperson,
Aye.
Ivy,
Aye.
Coates,
Aye.
Henderson,
Aye.
Belliston.
Aye.
That resolution is approved with a vote of 5-0. We are now at the section for report of officers from assigned committees. Councilman Belliston.
So last week, I think it was last week was my first as chairman of Flood Control Authority.
Congratulations.
Well, we didn't do so good because we failed for lack of a quorum. So one of the
Come on,
things
Chair.
that came up is that, it used to be that we had alternates. We needed find an alternate or identify an alternate for the flood control, and then St. George Cities can also identify an alternate
like
just
it.
in case. So if we can just kind of put that on the radar that we need to do that.
Let's get together and talk about that.
That works.
Congratulations. Was that Mayor Rosenberg that used to chair that?
That was Mayor Hughes that used to do that, and it was the first time there was a dissenting vote on
Was
any
it-
motion.
was
in
it
flood
your-
control
Was it
authority.
your vote that
It was
dissented?
my vote that was dissenting, so
Exactly why you're the right guy for the job. We've got a lot of chairs on committees from this council. Anything else, Councilman?
no, good, thank you.
Councilman Henderson.
I don't have anything. I do have a mosquito board meeting tomorrow, so I'll report on that next time.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Coates.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Councilman Ivy.
Mayor, I have a report tonight that I'm going to consolidate to the Washington City Youth Council.
Okay.
We had our graduation dinner the other night, and I've asked David to run the video that was shown that night. So if we can just relax and watch this. This is what the Youth Council watched at our graduation.
Cool.
This is kind of taking you through our year.
Good looking group.
Halloween. Halloween, a lot of fun. Kids, a lot of energy.
Yeah, that's at the community center. The last one was.
It's the USS Utah parade or parade float. December 7th.
Councilman Ivy, how many of these kids graduated out this year?
They graduated 7, I believe.
Okay.
7 or 8, 7. Christmas in Dixie. The tree that you're able to make your own ornaments, the wagon rides.
You recognize that one? Dad?
Donuts, hot chocolate. This is up at, that's at Utah Tech. We had a meeting with the president. This is up at the Capitol. That was our lobbyist early in the morning. This is at the Capitol. You recognize Representative Jack there, and the Lieutenant Governor addressed the council. They were able to ask questions. There's Annie and Michelle, our 2 great leaders. There's our Attorney General playing the piano and one of our council members playing the horn. This is out at the Will's grand opening. We had the police show us around the police station and ask questions. I don't know if the chief will ever do that again. They asked some pretty hard questions. This was just recently at Cotton Days. We had a popcorn stand and helped out with that. So that's our year in review. Let me just go ahead and share a little bit more, Mayor, if you don't mind. These are the graduates, but I'm going to list them. First of all, we have several college scholarship winners in the Youth Council. Our $1,000 winner was Tessa Stewart. Josiah Morgan got 500. Keaton Earl got 500. Tyrell Hughes 500. Rachel Paxman 500. And the other graduates in that class was Taylor Brown, Brindley McDonald, White Higgins. The rest of the Youth Council has chosen to stay on for another year. And I just want you to know, Mayor, it's an honor for me to be a part of that group. And, you know, it's really amazing to be around these youth. They're so bright, so prepared for life. And, you know, it's a pleasure for me to be around them. And, you know, it's always about the youth in this city. And I think I want to just ask all the adults that we make sure that they're always the primary focus for our efforts here. And just wanted to thank Annie for her leadership this year as our director. Michelle and Tess was with staff. Jordan helped out a great deal. And it was a fantastic year, one that meant for a lot of firsts. Jordan worked with our city manager and was able to get him a internship during the legislative session as a senior. That's our, and the last thing I'm going to talk about, Mayor, is I want to talk about Mayor Brown.
Yeah, there it is.
You know, they're all great mayors in their own right, but Mayor Brown went above and beyond. He was out, we were out planning the event at the Wills Park when Chris Reed from Fox 13 came and wanted to do an interview. And Mayor just stepped up and he said just what you'd want him to say, Mayor. You just bragged on the city and what it means to him to live here, to be raised here. And I should know better. But they mean a lot to me. And they've had a great year. I thank the city for always having doors open for them to come and ask, because each of the youth council has an assignment that corresponds with a person in the city. We have a mayor, we have council, we have a city manager, we have people over police and fire. And we encourage them to go talk with their counterpart to learn. And one of the comments that was made at graduation is one of the people that spoke, one of the young people, I don't remember who it was, but they said, the real value in this senior year is being able to learn how a municipal government works. And I want you to think, if you really understood municipal government when you was a senior or junior in high school, how that could have helped you later on. But I just want to take a minute and congratulate our graduates. Look forward to those that are still with us for another year and those that are coming on. It's truly a privilege for me to be a part of that. And I really appreciate the city opening every door and extending every courtesy for our youth. And again, thanks to our wonderful leaders for their support and help.
Thank you, Councilman. Well said. Councilwoman Casperson.
Well, we had an active transportation committee meeting. We talked about Cotton Days review and a lot of the staff said that normally they will kind of close up around 12, but they stayed and everyone was really pleased with Cotton Days. And then we also discussed the Wills Park opening, but we also focused on the new e-bike law, Utah HB 381. And I don't know if everyone is aware of it, but it was into effect May 6th. And for all e-bike and e-scooter riders under 21, they must wear helmets. And then riders must be at least 16 years old who are going to be riding on a power alone motor that goes faster than 20 miles per hour. And then there's also restrictions, under 8, you can't ride a e-bike. And then under 16, you're not allowed to operate a motorcycle or higher powered electric device. And one of the things we were discussing is, and maybe this would be a question for Chief, is how we can educate and then try to enforce this new law as it go into effect. And that's something that I don't necessarily have to do it now, but since he's on his way up, yes, please.
We always like to obviously use the approach of education, especially when these laws come out. So we'll be making those contacts as we see the violations, but we also will get involved with safety camps that are going on around the communities during the summertime as well to help bring that to light and educate those riders as well. So yeah, just partnership is how we get that word out. So
I like that. Thank you.
Yep.
That's all for me, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I don't have anything to report on, so we'll move to City Manager report.
I'll follow your leadership and I'll pass on my report tonight too, Mayor.
And as stated, we do not have need to go to closed session, so I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So made.
I have a motion by Councilman Belliston.
Second.
Second by Councilman Coates. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned unanimously.